Chapter-4, Meditation. In dealing with the teachings of Ramana Maharshi, one occasionally comes across pieces of advice which seem to contradict each other. To recognize the real meaning of such apparent inconsistencies, one has to keep in mind one main principle of the sage. That is, he never discouraged the visitor in his own spiritual endeavor, whatever the outer form may be. Because the Maharshi knew that the sincere seeker after truth is always guided from within, and that his inclinations to particular practices not only indicate the degree of his spiritual maturity, but at the same time, in most cases, are also the means best suited for the person concerned. He never advised a questioner to drop whatever practice he had followed up to that point. He only showed, if necessary, how to make it more effective. When he stressed again and again the superiority of investigation compared with all other methods, he was not motivated by a kind of bigotry, but did it because there is a very important reason behind it, one that is rock-like, insurmountable. And that is, all other methods of sadhana have to keep the personal I to be practiced. Whereas vichara, self-inquiry, the investigation into this I, is the best possible method to remove it. Meditation as a yoga practice is almost a parlor game nowadays, and it was also foremost among the subjects about which questions were put before Ramana Maharshi. His answers point, as usual, to the way already mentioned, how to make it most effective. The purpose of meditation is known, quieting the restlessness of the mind, and also the method, fixing the attention on one thought only, until finally this thought also vanishes. Ramana Maharshi's interpretation of meditation is different. He said, meditation is your true state now. You call it meditation because there are other thoughts distracting you. When these thoughts are dispelled, you remain alone in the state of meditation, free from thoughts. And that is your real nature, which you are now attempting to gain by keeping away other thoughts. Such keeping away of other thoughts is now called meditation. When the practice becomes firm, the real nature shows itself as true meditation. Somebody utters a doubt and asks, meditation is with the mind. How can it kill the mind in order to reveal the self? The answer by the Maharshi keeps in line what he has always said. Meditation is sticking to one thought. That single thought keeps away other thoughts. Distraction of mind is a sign of weakness. By constant meditation, it gains strength. That is to say, its weakness of following fugitive thoughts gives way to the enduring background free from thoughts. This expanse, devoid of thought, is the self, Atman. Mind in purity is the self. But other questions come. Shall I meditate on I am Brahman? I am Brahman is one of the four great sayings or Mahavakyas of the Upanishads. And the Maharshi answered, the text is not meant for thinking I am Brahman. I is known to everyone. Brahman abides as I in everyone. Find out the I. The I is already Brahman. You need not think to realize this. Simply find out the I. The same question turns up repeatedly. And Maharshi says, I am Brahman is only a thought. Who says it? Brahman itself does not say so. What need is there for Brahman to say it? Nor can the real I say so, for I always abides as Brahman. To be saying it is only a thought. Whose thought is it? All thoughts are from the unreal I, the I thought. Remain without thinking. So long as there is thought, there will be fear. So what should one think of when meditating? The Maharshi answers, what is meditation? It is the expulsion of thoughts. You are perturbed by thoughts which rush one after another. Hold on to one thought so that the others are expelled. Continuous practice gives the necessary strength of mind to engage in real meditation. Meditation differs according to the degree of advancement of the seeker. If one is fit for it, one might directly hold the thinker, and the thinker will automatically sink into its source, which is pure consciousness. If one cannot directly hold the thinker, one must meditate on God. And in due course, the same individual will have become sufficiently pure to hold the thinker and sink into absolute being. The natural consequence of this answer would be, what then is the difference between meditation and investigation? And the Maharshi answers, both amount to the same. Those unfit for investigation must practice meditation. In this practice, the aspirant, forgetting himself, meditates, I am Brahman, or I am Shiva. And thus he continues to hold on to Brahman or Shiva. This will ultimately end in the residual being as Brahman or Shiva, which he will realize to be the pure being, the self. For he who engages in investigation and starts holding on to himself asks, who am I? And the self becomes clear to him. Here we have one of the above-mentioned contradictions. Though seemingly undermining such meditation by this method of inquiry, Ramana Maharshi himself recommends meditation on I am Brahman. But at the same time, his answer contains the clue to the method, which is to convert meditation into self-inquiry. When he says, forgetting himself. The following words can be taken as a summarization by Ramana Maharshi of the technique and effect of meditation. To be in one's natural state on the subsidence of thought is bliss. If that bliss is transient, that is, arising and setting, then it is only the sheath of bliss, the Anandamaya Kosha, not the pure self. What is needed is to fix the attention on the pure I after the subsidence of all thoughts and not to lose hold of it. This has to be described as an extremely subtle thought, else it cannot be spoken of at all, since it is none other than the real self. Who is to speak of it? To whom and how? This subtle mental state is not a modification of mind or vritti, because the mental states are of two kinds. One is the natural state, and the other is a transformation into forms of objects. The natural state is the truth, and this transformation into form of objects is according to the doer. When the doer perishes, the truth will remain. The means for this end is meditation. Though meditation is with the triad of distinction, that is, the meditator, the meditated object, and the meditation, it will finally end in pure awareness, or jnana, true knowledge. Meditation needs effort, whereas jnana is effortless. Meditation can be done or not done, or wrongly done. Jnana, true knowledge, is not like that. Meditation is described as doer's own, jnana as the supreme's own. As the Maharshi says, the only answer consistent with his great experience is, who is the meditator? Ask that question first. Remain as the meditator. There is no need to meditate. Thus far, we have considered a meditation as a sheer technique with the purpose of getting the process of automatic thought under control. But according to Ramana Maharshi, it means more than that. It means our true nature. However, no special technique whatsoever can reveal our true nature as meditation to us as long as there is our wrong I as the motive power behind our acting in everyday life. In all kinds of spiritual practice, there is the principle that states, the siddhi, the perfection of the sage, is the sadhana, the spiritual practice of the sadhak, or seeker, which means that the seeker after truth has to mold his own behavior according to the behavior of the sage, whom he looks upon as his guide or teacher. Of course, not like the hypocrite who merely pretends, but in order to abide in the inner attitude, the essence of the master's behavior. Our present pattern of acting is the result of a lifelong egocentrism, which has penetrated all our feeling, thinking, and acting, all of our so-called mind. And to get rid of it, it is not enough to sit daily for some time in meditation. Because even when we are already advanced in this technique in a certain degree by practice and able to put the thought process at rest, it is merely a trick. The ego mind has realized, as it were, that we insist on being quiet, and it yields to be the meditator for the time being, because it knows quite well that when the habitual time of meditation is over, it, or the egoic trance, will be free again to roam about as usual. If we do not resolve to attack the deadening enemy in every nook and corner of our daily life, we shall never get rid of this ghost which we have pampered unconsciously for so long. But what is the means? We can analyze ourselves, find out our personal shortcomings and weaknesses, and try to overcome them one by one. But this is a very tedious and long process, and the result rather poor. Can we expect our enemy, the ghost I, to commit suicide to please us? Or we can take refuge in the wise Patanjali and adopt the first two steps of the Eightfold Yoga, Yama and Niyama. Yama represents the 5 Mahavatas, the great vows of self-restraint, non-violence, truthfulness, honesty, continence, and abstemiousness. They are not only meant in their manifest sense, but in a subtler way also. Thus, non-violence means not causing injury in thought, word, or deed. Truthfulness, avoiding not only sheer lies, but exaggeration as well, and making false impressions on others. Half-truths are worse than whole lies. Honesty does not only mean non-stealing, but covers at the same time the possession of things in a quantity exceeding our momentary needs, and not entertaining desires for things we don't need. Brahmacharya is not confined to sexual continence in acting, word, or thought. Its real meaning is the quest for Brahman, to live and find our happiness only in Brahman, the pure consciousness. Abstemiousness means freedom not only from greed, but from all desires. These 5 yamas are completely obligatory for anyone undertaking the yogic path, and they are important for anyone who wants results in meditative practice. The niyamas are rather positive directions insofar as they demand abidance in the right, while the yamas lay stress on the renunciation of the wrong. The 5 niyamas are purity, external and internal, contentment, tapas, or austerity, concerning body, speech, and mind, study of scriptures, and surrender to God. Practicing these yogic virtues sincerely would certainly bring some improvement in the course of time, but it will not root out the enemy, the personal I, because again, it is just the same I which is practicing them. Maybe it will even become stronger, a yogic I, as will be seen later. So what can we do? There's only one way to overcome the ghost, to watch it. Do not fight, do not resist, only try to watch, quietly but ceaselessly. In other words, develop an unconcerned witness consciousness towards men, things, and happenings without, in the external world, but particularly towards yourself within. It means carrying on the calmness of the mind gained in meditation to cover the whole day. You will distinctly feel it as an undercurrent of peace and detachment. Of course, as soon as you succeed, the ghost I will immediately try to hide itself in this witness consciousness as the feeling, I am the witness. This again is only a thought, but to be the witness without any I consciousness is the pure mind at the threshold of reality. While following the transformation of the personal I into the impersonal witnessing, you cut at the root of all your personal shortcomings, vices, and weaknesses, your passions and evil habits, because the root of all this unpleasant you-ness is just that personal I. Try to imagine yourself in the mood of the unconcerned witness, and you will see that in that state it is impossible to think or act in a negative way, because in that mood you are, though only momentarily, beyond the personal I. Your sadhana is to keep yourself permanently in the state of detached witnessing of all and everything, including the personal I, when and wherever it should try to raise its head. In the silent light of being witnessed, this false I cannot survive. Such witnessing will soon grow into pure awareness, aware only of itself. In the words of Ramana Maharshi, the truth is that the self is constant and unintermittent awareness. The essence of mind is only awareness or consciousness. When the ego, however, dominates, it functions as the reasoning, thinking, or sensing faculty. The cosmic mind, being not limited by the ego, has nothing separate from itself, and therefore is only aware. And this is what the Bible means by I am that I am.